thank you for joining me for this practice today. This practice is going to focus on grounding and safety, just like the meditation, the third meditation that was posted does. So a couple things you might need for this practice. If you have a block, that's great. If not, you could use a sturdy bed pillow. Almost like a decorative pillow can come in handy here. If you have something like that, I really recommend you use it. We're going to help kind of get into our physical body and activate our physical body through the use of the block or the pillow. Another tool to use today is if you have a strap, that's great. If you don't, and what I'm just going to use today, I do have a strap, but just to show you is a towel. This is just a hand towel, and this can help because we're going to work on a little bit of binds today so that we're able to really keep that connection with our body. So using the block sometimes to bring the floor a little bit closer to us and really just connecting with our body, with the floor, holding on to different parts of our body. So modifications for everything, please feel free to use them. So right now, let's start in a seated pose. So if it's accessible to you to sit the way I'm sitting, which is on my shins in what is called hero's pose or Virasana. So one way to do this would be to take the block, put it between your ankles, and then sit on the block. You could use your pillow for this as well. Or maybe you sit on your heels. We're not going to stay too long. And keeping our hands today in either one of two mudras. So you could choose the mudra that we used during the meditation, which is Chinmaya mudra, where you bring your index fingers and your thumbs together and then curl the rest of your fingers in. So it's almost like a little hook, almost a fist, but a hook. Another mudra to use, that we're going to use maybe a little bit more in the practice, is Adi mudra. So bringing your thumbs inside of your fingers and just making a fist. And sitting your hands right here on your thighs and allowing your shoulders to roll back, your spine to lengthen. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, you can close your eyes. If not, you can keep them open, maybe just looking down past the tip of your nose. And taking a moment here to sense every area where your body comes into contact with something. So tops of my feet and shins coming into contact with the mat. Maybe noticing your hips and your bum sitting either on your heels or on the block. Allowing your attention to come to your hands, resting on your thighs. And then just letting the rest of your attention come to your physical body. So maybe noticing your spine lengthening as your hips remain heavy. A little bit of extra length through the back of your neck. Maybe you roll your shoulders a couple times, forwards and back. Just allowing your breath to lengthen. So deep inhales. Steady exhales out through your nose. Breath in through your nose. As you exhale, sensing your breath going down your body into the floor, into your mat. Breathing in, letting your lungs expand. Exhaling maybe at the very end, pulling your belly in towards your spine. Again, sensing your breath, your energy, your awareness downward. Another breath in. Breath out. One more inhale. And a deep breath out. And then just a few shoulder movements. So keep your breath nice and long. And as you breathe in, bring your shoulders forward and up to your ears. And then start to let them come down and back. And then inhaling them up and forward. Exhaling down. Then back and up. Exhaling down, back. One more time this direction. Up Exhaling forward and down, and then this time inhale up. Exhale back and down, and then forward and up. Back and down. One more, forward and up. Back and down, good. And then just kind of rolling your shoulders a couple of times, keeping your breath nice and steady. And then relaxing your arms. And just a few cat-cow movements from here in Hero's Pose. We're not going to stay here much longer. You can bring your hands to your knees. As you inhale, rolling your chest forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, round. Keep your elbows nice and straight, chin to your chest. And I'm going to turn so you can see that from the side. Inhaling, lift your chest, roll your shoulders back, stick your hips back. Exhale, round, bring everything in. One more time, inhale, roll open. Exhale, round. And this time, inhale, come up to center. Exhale, let your hands come back behind you. So you might tend to your fingers. You might be able to bring your palms down. You can turn your hands out a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of a chest opener. So as you inhale, press into your hands, start to lengthen and lift your chest, and roll your shoulders back. Squeeze them together behind you. If it's okay on your neck, you can look up. Breath in. Breath out. Big, deep inhale. Slow, steady exhale. We're going to stay for one more. If you want this time, you can lift your hips up. Inhale. Stay as you exhale. Take a breath in. Then exhale. If your bum is lifted, bring it back down. Bring your chin into your chest. And come back up to a seat. Take an inhale. As you exhale, come forward. You can take your block and move it to the side. We're not going to need it for a couple of moments. So from here, bringing your fingers nice and wide, spreading them. Palms press into the mat. Keeping your knees about hip width distance apart. You're going to curl your toes and we're going to find downward facing dog. So as you inhale, start to press your chest back. As you exhale, curl the toes, lift your hips, sink your heels down. As you breathe in, rise up high to your toes. Exhale, sink your right heel down, put a big bend in your left knee. Inhale, lift your toes, lift your heels. Exhale, sink your left heel, put a big bend in your right knee. We're just going to keep pedaling like that with our breath. So inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, press your chest back, sink your right heel down, bend your left knee. Breathe in, lift to your toes. Exhale, sink your left heel, bend in the right knee, keep your chest pressing back. Inhale, lift your heels. This time as you exhale, sink both heels down towards the mat. They might not make it, and that's okay. Breathe in, rise to your toes. Bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, we're going to walk or step to the front of our mat. Breathe in, halfway lifts. Press your heels right under your knees, straighten your arms, roll your shoulders back, find some space between your shoulders and your ears. Exhale, soften your knees, maybe come to Adi Mudra and bring your fists down towards the mat. Big bend in the knees. We'll do that one more time. Halfway lift. Press off your shins, lengthen your spine. Exhale, bend your knees, maybe make fists, and bring your head down. Press into your feet. Breathe in. We're going to sweep our arms all the way up. Exhale, you can bring your hands to your heart. Maybe you set an intention for this practice, something focused on grounding, on safety. Maybe you just make an intention to stay present in your body throughout this practice. Breathe in. We're going to sweep our arms back up. Exhale, soften your knees. Maybe you bring your hands through heart center as you fold back down, maybe making those fists again. Halfway lift, breathe in. And a little different today, so we're going to plant the hands, step back. We're going to come to a forearm plank. So maybe you drop your knees. Bring your forearms down to the mat. Spread your palms, and we're going to keep our shoulders over our elbows, not past our elbows, right stacked on top. Now you can take your knees back, and maybe you stay here with your toes lifted for a modification for this plank. If you want the full forearm plank, you're going to curl your toes, lift your knees up off the mat. Now I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. It's important that we keep our shoulders and our hips kind of in line here, so we don't want our hips dipped way down. We don't want our bum way higher. We want them just even, okay? Breath in. Breath out. One more inhale. Remember, your knees can be dropped and toes lifted. And exhale. Okay, take a breath in. And we're going to lower all the way down to our belly. So if your knees are already dropped, you're just going to start to lower down. Press down through the tops of your feet. And start to slide your hands back to the small of your waist. Okay, we're going to do a baby cobra here. So press down through the tops of your feet. Inhale, peel your chest up, but stay low. As you exhale through your knees, curl your toes. Send your hips up and back, down dog. Take a breath in and a breath out. And then inhale, rise to your toes, bend your knees. Walk or step softly to the front of your mat. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, exhale, maybe make your fists. Sweep up, inhale. Exhale, hands can come through your heart, or you could forward fold with your arms out. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, step back again. We're going to find that forearm plank. So walk one foot back, then the other. Maybe you drop your knees as you come down to your forearms. Maybe you take your knees back, keep your toes lifted, or a full forearm plank. Breath in. Breath out. Take this inhale, breathe in. Lower to your belly, exhale. Press down through the tops of the feet. Slide your hands back. Inhale, come up for a cobra. Press into the mat. Exhale through your knees, curl your toes. Downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Breathe out. Inhale, rise to your toes. Bend your knees. Walk or step to the front of your mat. Halfway lift. Fold, maybe make your fist Sadi Mudra. Sweep all the way up, breathe in. Exhale, fold, maybe keeping your hands through heart center. Halfway lift. All in one, we're going to step back to that forearm plank. So one foot, the other foot, maybe you drop your knees. Find your forearm plank, just one breath. Knees down or up, it's up to you. Breathe in. Breathe out, go ahead, lower your hips. Uncurl your toes, press down through the tops of the feet. Hands slide back. Notice where you contact the mat, the tops of the feet, the palms. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back down, dog. Last time through, breathe in, rise to the toes, bend your knees. Find your way to the front of the mat. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, exhale. All the way up, inhale. Exhale, back down. Halfway lift. Plant your hands, step one foot back, then the other, and then drop your knees, maybe one arm down, then the other. Inhale, lift your knees if you choose to, or keep them lower. Exhale, stay. Take a breath in. Lower your hips, uncurl your toes. Hands slide back, inhale up for cobra. Exhale through your knees, curl your toes, hips up and back, down dog. Big breath in. Big exhale out. Inhale, rise to your toes. Bend your knees, walk or step to the front of your mat. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, exhale. Stand all the way up, breathe in. Hands to your heart, exhale. So we're gonna set up for a warrior two here. And actually, before we do that, let's practice mountain pose. So grabbing hold of your block or your pillow. And you're gonna stick that right in between your knees, right above your knees, in between your thighs. So your feet are gonna come a little bit more apart than usual, okay? And let's bring our awareness to our feet, okay? So maybe you rock forward into your toes, lift your heels. I'm gonna step up a little closer so you can see. Step back into your heels, lift your toes, then find about even. Maybe you lift your big toes up off the mat. Maybe you lift your baby toes off the mat. Maybe you spread your toes really wide, but really anchoring down into your feet and then squeezing your block, lifting your kneecaps up. So really active here through your outer hips, through your belly. Shoulders roll back and down for mountain pose. Okay, take a big breath in. Big breath out. Maybe close your eyes if you'd like. If not, it's okay. Just look down past the tip of your nose. Really bring your awareness to your feet and to your legs. Breath in. Maybe notice your breath going down through your feet. One more, inhale. And exhale. Good. You can go ahead, remove the block, and make sure you have your towel or strap somewhere handy towards the front of your mat. Okay? So we're gonna keep our right foot forward and step our left foot back into a warrior two. And I'm gonna turn so you can see. So my right foot's gonna continue to face what would be the front of your mat. I'm gonna take a big step back with my left foot. I wanna see, as you can see, I'm toe heeling my feet apart. I wanna take up as much room in the mat as I can, because I want this right knee to be stacked over my right ankle or behind it, never ever past it. If so, you need a longer stance, okay? And your left toes are pointing towards the left side of the wall, okay? So shoulders on top of your hips. Now you can stay here, you can always keep your hands at heart center, or you can take your arms out to a T. And we're gonna do just a little bit of movement here. So as you inhale, you're gonna come out of your squat a little bit. Exhale, you're gonna sink deep into it. Breathe in, lift up. Exhale, sink. Press into the big toe of your right foot, the outer edge of your left. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, sink as low as you can go. Feel like you're pulling your feet towards one another so you feel your inner thighs activating. Breath in. Breath out. One more inhale. And exhale. Flip your right palm. Inhale your right arm nice and high, reverse warrior. Take your left hand and gently hold on to the back of your left thigh. Maybe you look up, inhale. Maybe you sink a little deeper into your squat as you continue to reach up through your right hand. Again, awareness on your feet and your legs. Breathe in. Exhale, sensing that connection you have to your mat, to the ground. One more breath. And sink. Good. Now inhale, reach up high. As you exhale, go ahead, start to come down. We're going to come into extended side angle, but finding your cloth with your left hand, okay? So, as you inhale, take your strap or your towel, you're going to take it up to the sky. You're going to keep your right forearm on your right thigh. As you exhale, you're going to bring your left hand back behind you, okay? And your left hand is on your right bum, and I'll show you from the back on the other side. Now, to come into the bind, you're gonna go ahead, you're gonna press into your right foot, big toe mound, back edge of the back foot, and you're going to take your right arm down and you're going to find that towel, wherever it is, and you're going to hold on to it. So we're not looking to dip down to find the towel. You're looking to keep your chest opening. So you might hold on to the towel, you might keep your elbow on your knee, or you might be able to take the arm down and use your belly here. You can get closer and closer with that towel and help rotate your left shoulder back, okay? So my right hand's pulling on the towel, my left hand's pulling on the towel. I'm gonna keep my chin gently tucked in. And for those of you who know you can do a full bind and reach and grab the fingertips, you can do that. 2 more. Breathe in, pressing into your feet. Breathe out. 1 more inhale. And exhale. Okay, go ahead, drop the towel. Bring your right hand down either to your shin or to the ground. Inhale your left arm up. Exhale, left hand to your hip. And then we're just going to come up to stand. So as you breathe in, start to stand up. You're going to straighten your right leg and you're going to turn all 10 toes towards the side wall. So I'm still facing the camera, but if I was here, I would be facing the left side. Okay? So your toes turn in, hands on your hips here. Take a breath in. We're going to take a forward fold. So as you exhale, hinge at your hips, press into your feet and start to fold. Then bring your hands down either to the mat, maybe you use your block. You want to have some contact with the ground, okay? Straighten your arms, inhale, bring your shoulders forward over your wrists, so your weight's pretty even in your feet. Exhale and fold. So some of us, our head's going to be really far away from the block or from the ground. Some of us, we might be able to bring our hands down to the mat and maybe bring your head to a block and see what it feels like to let your head rest on the block or even the ground. Breath in. Breath out. You might even reach back for your ankles or your big toes. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Breath out. Hands back under your shoulders if they've moved. Inhale, come up to a halfway lift. As you exhale, toe heel your feet back in and turn to face the front of your mat. Inhale, we're going to sweep our arms up. Exhale, hands back to our heart. Good. Take 1 breath in here. And exhale. Now we're going to step our right foot back and we're going to come into warrior 2 on this side. Okay? So you want to take up a lot of room on your mat. I'm of course going to turn so you can see, actually I'm going to turn this way so you can see me from the back. So now your left toes are pointed directly forward and your right toes are pointed to the right side of the room. Okay? And again, take up lots and lots of room here because we want to open the hips and we want our knee over our ankle or behind it. Okay? Good. And we're going to do a little bit of movement. So as we inhale, we're going to straighten the leg just a little bit. Exhale, sink a little deeper into the squat. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, sink. Again, feel like you're pulling your feet towards one another. Inhale. Exhale, sink and stay. Flip your left palm, keep your squat as is. Take your left arm high with your inhale. Just let your right hand hold on to the back of your right thigh. Breathe in. Maybe sink into your squat again. Feel your feet. Make sure your left knee is kind of coming out towards your outer toes. Breath in. Breath out. 1 more inhale. And exhale. Reach up, breathe in. Side angle. So your left forearm's going to come down. You're going to find your towel or your strap with your right hand. Take your right arm up to the sky. Okay? Take a breath in. Let your right hand come down back behind you. So maybe your right hand comes to your left back pocket. Okay? You're going to let the towel come down. You're going to use your left hand and you're going to reach back and grab a hold of the towel. What's important is we want to keep the back of our head, our shoulders, and our hips all in line. Okay? Sink back into your squat, maybe reach down, rotate your right shoulder back. Couple more here, breathe in. Breathe out. 2 more, feel that connection, holding on to the towel, breathe in. Breathe out. You can lighten up on the squat if you need to. 1 more inhale. And exhale. Good, release your towel. Bring your left hand to your left thigh. Start to come up. And you're going to start to turn your right toes out to the side. Okay, so I'm going to turn so you can see. And we're coming into goddess pose. Okay, so we want our toes out to the side. We want our knees in line with our toes. So if our knees are caving in but our toes are out, turn your toes in a little bit so your knees and toes are in the same direction. We're going to keep our hands on our thighs here. Okay, so lift your chest a little higher, roll your shoulders back, take a breath in. Exhale, maybe you sink a little deeper into your squat. Again, knees over your heels. We're going to do a little bit of movement here. So take a breath in. Exhale your right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. Little tiny twist. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. Look over your right shoulder. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. Breathe in, come back up. Exhale, left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. 1 more time each side. Inhale, come up. Exhale, sink into your squat, right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. Inhale, come up. Left shoulder forward, right shoulder back as you exhale. Then inhale, come up. Maybe take your arms up, straighten the legs. And then exhale, toe heel your feet back together and step and find the front of your mat. Good. Take a breath in. Maybe open your mouth like you're blowing out of a straw. Especially if you've noticed your heart race a little bit, your heart rate up, maybe you're a little short on breath. Slow inhale. Open your mouth. 1 more. Pursed lips like you're blowing out through a straw as you exhale. Good. Then go ahead, find your block again. And just like we did in mountain pose, we're going to take the block right in between our thighs here. Okay? Squeeze and start to lift your kneecaps up. Use your outer hip muscles, your outer glutes, to squeeze with your inner thighs on that block. Okay? From here, we're going to come to a chair pose variation. I'm going to turn so you can see. So you can keep your arms up if you'd like, or your hands can be at your heart. Okay, take a breath in. Just like a regular chair pose, you're going to sink your hips down. Okay, so we want to keep the weight in our heels, so we're not shifted forward so our heels lift. The weight is in the heels. You can even lift and be light on your toes. Okay, if you're really leaning forward, see if you can start to lift your chest, but have your bum, your sacrum, point down to the ground. Okay, keep squeezing your block here. Breath in. Relax your jaw and your face. Good. Breathe in. Allow your attention maybe to go to your legs, your feet, noticing whatever sensations come up. We're going to stay for 1 more. Breathe in. And breathe out. Good. Inhale, we're going to stand. You're going to set the block on the ground, or the pillow, or a book. Okay? We're going to move into one balancing pose, and we're going to move into eagle, or Garudasana. So as stated before, we were doing a good bit of bind work here. So kind of everything being tight on the body, holding on. We're going to do a nice forward fold with that as well in a second. But we want to keep the attention attention on stability, on grounding. And so when we do that with a balancing pose, I'm going to have a couple of options, and I am going to suggest that you keep one foot somewhere on the ground unless you're really steady in your balance, because we want not so much to be falling out of this. We want to be stable and secure, but also balancing and concentrating. Okay, so let's keep our hands at our heart. Take a breath in. As we exhale without the block, we're going to do that same chair pose. So you're going to sink your bum and your hips back and down. Okay, we're going to keep your right leg as your standing leg. As you inhale, just get light and come to the toes of your left foot. And then start to cross your thighs and bring your left toes down to the mat. Okay, so we're crossed up here at our thighs. You might stay here. Next option is you use that block or that book or that pillow to bring your toes down. Okay, if you don't feel like you need the block here, you can keep your left toes on the mat. You can bring the outer part of your left foot against your right shin. Full pose would be to wrap your left toes around your right calf. If you do that and your hips turn, you want your hips facing forward no matter what. Okay, so maybe just practicing this with your block. Okay, breathe in, breathe out. Now we're going to inhale, take our arms out to a T. And our right leg's on the bottom means we want the right arm on top, and you can grab opposite shoulders and lift your elbows. Or you can bring your left fingers to your right palm, coming into eagle, full eagle. Okay, so lifting your elbows, pressing your forearms away from your face. I'll turn so you can see from the side what it looks like. Okay, lifting your chest, breath in, breath out, sink. One more, inhale, and exhale. Now, whether you have full eagle arms or you're grabbing opposite shoulders, keep your arms the way they are. As you inhale, you're going to stand, you're going to bring your left leg up, and we're going to step back to a warrior one. So keeping your arms the way they are, step your left toes back, and bring them down onto the mat. So we want, as you can see, my feet are hip width apart, okay? I don't have my left foot directly behind my right. It's like railroad tracks, okay? My right knee is either on top of my right ankle or behind. And I'm going to unbind so you can see. And my left toes are pointed to the left front corner of my mat. My heel is on the mat. Okay? So keeping your arm bind, lift your elbows, press your forearms away from your face, or press your elbows away from your face if you're holding on to opposite shoulders. 2 more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale again, relax your jaw, relax your eyebrows. 1 more inhale. Sink a little lower into your warrior one, exhale. Unwind your arms wherever they are, breathe in, you can reach up. As you exhale, you're going to step forward, hands down, back into mountain pose. Okay? So just one more reminder when we go to the other side, warrior one. Our hips face forward. Our feet are about hip width apart as we step back, because again, we want that balance. We want our hips to stay facing forward, so not turned like a warrior two, facing forward. Okay, so let's move to eagle on the other side. So if you're using the block, slide it over to the other side. Okay, take a breath in. Exhale, sink into chair pose. Okay. Then we're going to keep our left leg as our standing leg. So as we breathe in, maybe just come to the toes of the right foot. And when you're ready, you're going to lift it, and you can cross at your thighs and bring your right toes to the mat. You can bring your right toes onto the block. You can bring your outer left foot to press into your outer right foot, press into your left shin, or you can wrap the foot all the way around. I'm going to keep my toes on the block. My hips are square. I'm going to lift my chest up. Now, to come into the arm variation, as you inhale, you open your arms to a T. Your left leg's on the bottom, so your left arm will come on top. You can grab opposite shoulders or come into full eagle. I'm going to show you opposite shoulders on this side. Okay, so keep sinking into your hips. Keep bending your left knee. Breathe in. Press your elbows or your forearms away as you keep your shoulder blades anchored on your back. Lift your elbows a little higher. 1 more breath. Okay, you're going to keep your arms however they are, like this or full eagle arms. As you inhale, you're going to stand up, you're going to bring your right knee with you, and then you're going to step back to a warrior one. So you can adjust as much as you need to make sure your feet, again, are about hip width apart. Hips are facing forward, so your left hip's back, your right hip's forward. Take a breath in. Exhale, sink into your left knee. I'm going to turn so you can see. Okay, so the back foot stays on the mat. Your front knee is over your front ankle. Lift your elbows. Press your elbows or forearms away from your face, but keep your shoulders onto your back. One more to stay. Inhale. Exhale, maybe you sink, press your right heel a little heavier, squeeze and lift maybe your right bum. Maybe you inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, hands down, step to the front of your mat. Good. Full breath in. Exhale. Sweep your arms up, inhale. Hands come down through your heart, exhale. And bring your feet about hip distance apart. Take your index finger and your middle finger, your peace fingers, and you're going to wrap them around your big toes, okay? So that your fingers are pointed towards one another. You're going to pull up on your big toes, but you're going to use your big toes to press into the mat, okay? So you're holding onto your toes. Inhale, straighten your arms. Maybe you straighten your legs like a halfway lift. Exhale, bend your elbows out, pull up on your toes as your toes press down and let your head be heavy. Hanging here in your forward fold, release any tension from your neck. Maybe you shake your head from side to side a little bit. Maybe you shift your weight back into your heels and then a little bit more into your toes. Maybe you pull a little bit more onto your toes and lengthen a little bit more through your low back and your hamstrings. Your knees can be really bent here or they can be almost straight, anywhere in between. One more breath. And exhale. Good. Go ahead, release your toes. Go ahead and toe heel your feet back together. Take a halfway lift to breathe in. And then exhale, we're going to plant your hands and you're going to step down onto your knees, onto a seat. Okay. And we're going to do a little bit of work here with something called a toe stand. So we've done a lot of work with our feet and toes, a lot of attention and awareness into our feet and toes. And now we're going to do a little bit of stretching through the bottom of our feet. So one great way to work on the bottom of our feet and work with our fascia all the way up our posterior chain is to roll your feet on a tennis ball. So if you happen to have a tennis ball, not something really, really hard like a golf ball, but something a little bit softer, a little bit more give, maybe even a rubber ball, so that you can really massage out your feet. That's something great to do almost on a daily basis if you can. It's really good for grounding. It's really good for bringing your energy and your awareness, your attention back into your body. It's really good too on your feet. And so what we're going to practice here is can be a little bit intense, so you're going to have the option to come up and down off of it. But let me show you where we're going to go here. So you're going to take your feet, I'm going to turn so you can see, and you're going to curl your toes, okay? As I curl my toes, my last two baby toes are not even really on the mat, so I'm going to fan them out. I'm going to spread them out as I start to sink my bum back onto my heels. Now, hands can come to your heart, and this may be pretty intense. If it is, you might need to come out of it a little bit. Maybe this is enough for you today. Maybe you sit standing up on your knees, but keep your toes curled. Maybe you can bring your hips back and tolerate it for a breath or two. Maybe you can stay here for the full 5 breaths. If you need to come out of it, come out of it. Okay? Breathe in. Breathe out. And again, let your awareness, your attention be in your feet here as you keep your breath steady and strong. Noticing whatever sensations, maybe they're mild, maybe they're a little more intense in your feet. If you need to come out of it, come out of it. We're going to stay for 1 more breath. Inhale and exhale. Good, and then start to bring your hands down. You can uncurl your toes, Maybe pat your toes a little bit on the mat and come back forward. Good. Then we're going to move into our hip pose today, which is going to be frog pose. So we're going to work both hips at the same time. And there's a little bit of work that goes into our mat, but we want to have our block ready for this, for frog pose, potentially for right here under your rib cage or maybe for your forehead, okay? So let me show you from both the side and the front. So from the side, what you might want to do is take your mat, you might want to turn to one side and start to roll your mat inward, maybe about 2 to 3 times. This is going to create a little bit of padding for your feet and for your ankles, okay? I'm going to do that on both sides. You don't want to roll your mat in so much that it's really little. You want a nice wide space for your feet, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and take your knee to one edge. Maybe you need to roll it in a little bit more. You're going to take your other knee to the other edge. And you want your feet like a frog's feet. So you want your knees and your hips kind of in line here. Your shin and your ankle in line. So your ankle is right under your knee. So we're not all the way in like a child's pose, okay, with our feet in. Our feet are out and our toes, just like goddess pose earlier, are pointed in 2 different directions, okay? So you might want to stay like this. We're not looking to just flatten all the way down into this. We want to keep our hips kind of pressing back. So here's where you might want the block. And you might bring it right here, right on your ribs. Okay? Maybe you bring your hands to Adi Mudra. I'm going to turn towards the front so you can see. You might also decide to put the block, and you can see my ankles and my feet are in line here, so they're not way far behind me. You can see them. You're going to feel this in your inner thighs. So you can either have the block here on your ribs, or maybe you bring your forearms down to the mat and bring your head to the block to rest. Okay? So we don't want a lot of tension in our shoulders or in our neck. We want our head to be able to rest, and we want our bum pressing back. That's how we can deepen the pose. Okay, so you might want to come out of it a little bit, but if you want to go into it a little bit further, you're going to press your hips back towards your heels. Okay? And just a couple of breaths here. So maybe you bring your hands, your thumbs inside, you make fists, you come to Adi Mudra, or maybe you roll your shoulders back, away from your ears. You can let your head relax. And notice the places that your body comes to contact with the mat and the floor. So noticing your hands softly in these fists and Adi Mudra. Noticing your forearms on the mat, or maybe your palms if you're up higher. Noticing your head either on the block, maybe on the floor. Noticing the obvious sensations that you're feeling, most likely in your hips. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, you can close your eyes, and again, maybe direct your sensation or your attention inward to the sensations that you're feeling in your body. Keeping your breath nice and steady. Deep inhales, long, steady exhales. Face relaxed, jaws relaxed. Noticing how your breath can keep you calm. You notice any tension arising, any emotions arising. It's okay, you notice them. Just keep your focus on your breath, maybe blowing out through your mouth, like you're blowing out of a straw. So even when a situation might not be comfortable, it might be uncertain how long it's going to last, sensations and emotions like fear and worry, even a change in our routine can cause us to feel these ways. just staying with your breath, with the sensations in your body, calming your nervous system with steady breath, especially a longer exhale. And just riding out what might be uncomfortable. If you need to come out of the pose, you come out of it. We're just going to stay for one more breath. Deep inhale. And exhale. And then coming out of the pose, you're going to maybe start to come back up to long arms. I like to bring my feet inward. Start to come up. Shift to one hip. Bring the leg in. Shift to the other hip. Taking your time. Bringing your legs in. Unwinding your mat. And coming down onto your bum. Last couple poses here. You're going to take your feet forward. We're going to come into staff pose. So it's a seated forward fold. So from the side, we want our shoulders stacked over our hips. If that is a challenge, and if you're rounding as your legs are straight, you can bend your knees a little bit so that you can get your shoulders back. We want to bring our palms onto the mat as best as we can. If you can take the bend out of the knees, you can, or you can keep your knees bent. Spread your toes, open your toes up. Okay. One more pose here, or one more breath here in staff pose, Dandasana. And you can stay here if you'd like to walk your hands slowly forward to a forward fold. A calming, relaxing fold where maybe you drop your chin into your chest. You keep your chest and heart coming forward. Shoulders stay back. Maybe you reach your toes, maybe you don't. One more breath. And inhale, start to come back up. Coming into Supta or Baddha Konasana, you're going to bring the soles of your feet together. You're going to hold on to your feet. You bring your thumbs to the balls of your feet. You can open your feet up almost like a book. Your knees may be up high or down low. Wherever they are is fine. As you inhale, you're going to, again, this little bit of a bind where you hold on to your body. Lift your chest. Exhale, you can start to fold forward again. Maybe an inch or two, maybe a lot. Keeping that length in your spine and trying to resist rotating your shoulders in and rounding, but keeping your shoulders back, your chest open. One more breath. And exhale. And inhale, start to come back up. And we're going to come down onto our back. Just finishing up our last couple poses. Take your block with you for bridge pose. So I'm going to turn again so you can see. And as we come down, you're going to keep your feet flat, your bum towards your heels, and your head down onto the mat. Arms down at your side. So for a traditional bridge pose, we wouldn't use the block. You can start to lift your hips up. But today, again, using the block, sticking it in between your knees, and really using the activation of your legs, squeezing on the block to keep your focus on grounding on your bigger muscles of your body and on your legs and feet. So keeping your palms down, maybe look up toward the ceiling, take a breath in. Exhale, squeezing that block, lifting your hips. Okay, you can keep your palms and your arms pressing down into the mat as you lift your hips a little higher, holding onto the block with your thighs. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhaling. Exhaling. One more. Focusing on your legs. Inhale, lift. Stay as you breathe out. And then take an inhale. And then nice and slowly lower down onto the mat. Take the block to the side. And you can windshield wiper your legs a little bit side to side if that feels good. Maybe you knock your knees in and your feet wide. Breath in. Breath out. Good. And then finishing up with happy baby. So bringing your knees into your chest. We're going to spend a minute here in Apanasana right after we come through our happy baby. So taking the soles of the feet to the sky. And again, this bind idea. So keeping your hands maybe on your calves. Okay, soles of the feet like they're trying to stand on the ceiling. Maybe you can reach up and grab your ankles and take your knees a little bit wider. Or maybe for the full pose, you can reach up and grab onto the outer edges of the feet. My elbows kind of come inside of my knees and I pull down on my feet as my feet kick up to the ceiling. Okay, soles of the feet like they're trying to step on the ceiling, so our feet aren't turned in towards one another. Everything is stacked. Okay, so it's just like the goddess pose that we did earlier. It's similar to the frog pose. It's the squat type motion. If your back of your head is up, if you're rounding a lot in your happy baby, try to bring your bum to the mat and maybe your head to a block. Maybe you stay still. Maybe you rock a little bit side to side. One more inhale. And exhale, you can bring your feet down. And then just a breath or two in Apanasana. So holding on to your shins, hugging your knees into your chest. You can rock a little bit side to side. And give yourself one more squeeze. Maybe you squeeze up into a ball. And then as you exhale, stretching out your legs and feet, your arms down at your side for final relaxation or Shavasana. So again, remembering not to skip final relaxation. Okay. Again, maybe you bring your attention to everywhere that your body is coming into contact with the mat, with the ground. If you're comfortable closing the eyes, close your eyes. And allowing your physical body to just feel like it's melting down onto the mat. Feeling your connection with the mat, the earth beneath you. And then allow your breath to start to deepen. You can start to move through your fingers and toes. Maybe rock your head side to side. And then taking your time to roll onto your right side, bringing your knees into your chest, supporting your head with your right arm. And finding your way back up towards the front of your mat, coming into a comfortable seat. Hands together at your heart. Taking a couple of moments just to check in again with your body, with your breath. Maybe noticing any changes. Feeling maybe a little more connected with your body. Maybe feeling a different sense of energy now that you've spent this time present in your physical body. Let's take our final breath in here. And as we exhale, we bow forward and say, Namaste.